mix up, but check it out. That trials final was insane. And you know what? Let's go quick rundown of the 9 trialists that made it through the trials and are now seated in the leaderboard rounds here at the Encanto Pro Puerto Rico. Who do we have in these rounds that came out of the trials? Jackson.
Yes, yesterday in the trials, we saw Tom Rigby and Mitch Rollins from Australia, Jason Carrion from Puerto Rico, Trevor Cam, the young Hawaiian, Roberto Bruno from Brazil, Jorge Colomer from Puerto Rico, Kalani Latanzi, the IBA Latin American champion from Brazil, Milton Montalvo from Puerto Rico, and Noel de Arce all advance through and make it to the main event.
So now there are 6 Puerto Rican local riders still in the run for a win here at the Encanto Pro Puerto Rico. So it's an open field out there, but particularly focusing on Jeff Hubbard, your current tour ranking leader. There is a high possibility he could walk away with a world title after this event. What does he have to do?
There's a lot of numbers in play today, and for this event in general, there are 12 contenders left. Basically, Jeff...
There you go. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but the start of the first heat, round number 1 of the Grand Slam Series leaderboard rounds is now underway.
All right, and while we await our riders out on the water to grab their first waves, we have out there Ryan Hardy in the red jersey, Mike Stewart in white, Tom Rigby in yellow, and Babby Quinones in the black jersey.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just waking up, once again, Manny V and Steve Action Jackson going to give you the live feed here on IBAWorldTour.com and Red Bull.tv. The first round is stacked and heavy. So now, the world title race. Talk to me.
All right, real quick, we had mentioned Ryan Hardy is still in contention. He's the most viable threat to Jeff Hubbard to grab the world title. On the other end of things, Mike Stewart, the 9-time world champion out in the water right now in the white jersey, is currently sitting 16th on the Grand Slam Series.
Check this in. The live action. Thomas Rigby draws first blood here today, this morning in Isabela. Middles break in Isabela and drawing first blood. Thomas Rigby, not much there, but you know what? He got something on his scorecard. And look at this right off the bat, Ryan Hardy.
Ryan Hardy following up Thomas Rigby. The Australians getting on the board first. Ryan Hardy with a nice invert off of that inside section.
Oh, man, it's the golden hour right now. The light is just coming over the mountain, and you can tell by the live feed that it is beautiful out here. Another great day of conditions, really glassy. Has a little bit of morning sickness to it, so it's a little bumpy, and we still have waves in the water.
There you can see out in the water in the white jersey, Mike Stewart. As I was mentioning, in the World Tour standings, Mike is currently 16th. He's on the bubble. He has to get good results here and at the season finale in Fronton if he wants to qualify for the top 24 GSS in 2012.
Oh, my. So he can totally just get knocked out of the seeded riders, and he would have to start from the trials.
Yeah, there's a level of winners and losers going on with these last couple of events. Who's going to win the World Tour? Who's going to qualify for next year's World Tour? So, as I said, there's a lot of numbers in play right now, and we're going to do our best to keep you up to date all day long and throughout the course of this competition.
All right, let's take a look at the scores that have been dropped so far. Ryan Hardy's first wave, 7.5, and Thomas Rigby's first wave of 5.0. So Mike Stewart, Babby Quinones in this 30-minute heat with 2 waves being scored. We have 5 judges. The highest scoring judge and the lowest scoring judge will be dropped, and the average of the 3 remaining judges will be the scores giving to the riders. So right now, Ryan Hardy, 7.5, really solid for a first wave.
Yes, and while we have a little bit of lull in the action right here in the early going, I just want to touch base again on the current situation with, I guess you could say, the contenders and the pretenders, Manny. Like I said, we have 12 riders in contention for the world title. There's a lot of there's basically 3 separate groups. Ryan Hardy in the best position. He's Group A. There you can see we're starting to get a little wave action coming in. Manny, give us a breakdown on the riders that are kind of in the middle on the bubble, hoping to get a shot at Jeff Hubbard and that world title.
Well, there's 12 riders that we have to consider. Ben Player, Dallas Singer, Jake Stone, Jared Houston, Magno Oliveira, and Uri Valadao. Those riders are on the hunt, as well as Amaury Laverne, Dave Winchester, Guilherme Tamega, Mark McCarthy, and PLC, Pierre-Louis Costa, and Ryan Hardy. So those riders are still in the run. But there's a lot of tricky numbers, and we're going to try to break it down for you. But if Jeff Hubbard wins the event and Ryan Hardy comes in second, then the title race we will see in the Canary Islands.
Yes, whether the World Tour is figured out here today, the title is not today, at this event, we still are going to see a lot of jockeying for position for the World Tour in 2012. So even if we settle the world title here at this event, there's still going to be a lot to watch at the next event in Fronton.
Look at this little paddle battle out the back, and it is Bobby Quinones in the black jersey, the local legend here in Puerto Rico. Nice stall, nice trim, finds the barrel. Can he make it out of that? I don't think so. Little too deep for Bobby Quinones, but it's still early in this 30-minute heat. The heats are 30 minutes today. Top two waves will be scored, and let's talk about the leaderboard system now.
There you can see a shot of the competitor's tent. Everybody watching the action out in the water. This is round one of the leaderboard. The leaderboard is a 3-round. It's like a round robin. Every rider gets a chance to ride 3 times. They accumulate points, and the guys with the most points at the end, the top 16, move on to man-on-man elimination heats.
Yeah, that's what that's the beauty of the leaderboard rounds. You will be able to see your favorite riders 3 times, no matter if they do well or not. You're going to see your favorite riders 3 times, and that is the beauty of the new leaderboard system.
One of my favorite things about the leaderboard system, Manny, is that say you go out and you have a bad heat in the first round, you still have 2 rounds to recover and move on to the man-on-man portion of the main event.
And anything is possible. We see Magno Oliveira at the Box Pro back in Australia in April, where he actually missed his first heat, but came back and won his other 2 heats and was able to be in that top 16 to advance on. So a bad heat or not even showing up to your heat isn't the end of the chance of advancing on. So that's a good thing.
Yes.
So Ryan Hardy is the one that will actually won at the Box Pro. So check this out. Cool little clip of that event, and let me tell you, it was incredible. The waves were breaking massive on the shallow reef, and guys were just hitting the lip like it was a beach break. It was unbelievable. Ryan Hardy putting it together and piecing together a beautiful Box Pro win. I believe that was the second stop on the 8th stop tour, and Ryan Hardy making a dream come true, winning at his home break.
I know that was a big emotional win for Hardy because that's his local spot, and that's one of the beautiful things about the tour. Not only do they have amazing waves for each stop, but riders have a chance to go home to their home spot with their friends and family. And in that scenario, Ryan Hardy pulling off the big win in front of all his closest friends and family at his home spot. There's no better feeling than winning at your home turf.
Yeah, it's actually Ryan Hardy, the Hardy family, that go out to this wave, and it was just awesome sight to see. So now here we go, up to speed. 23 minutes remaining in this first heat, round number 1 of the main event. Ryan Hardy still on charge. Every rider has now 1 wave under their belt. Ryan Hardy leading the charge with a 7.5. Bobby Quinones clocked in a 6.0. Thomas Rigby a 5.0, and Mike Stewart 4.0.
Yeah, Mike Stewart getting on the board with a 4.0 to start things off. That most likely will be a throwaway score later on in this heat, but we shall see. I mean, we've had some riders getting through with some low to mid-range scores like that as a secondary score. Up and riding in yellow, Tom Rigby.
Nice. Thomas Rigby getting slotted for that morning keg and comes out of that barrel, punches through the lip, actually just bobs through the lip and calls it quits on that way, but not a bad barrel ride. That was a little breakfast burrito for Thomas Rigby. Good morning, brother.
Yeah, Thomas Rigby, again, the winner of the Childs Final yesterday, for those of you who joined us for the live broadcast of that in the afternoon. The Australians were looking stout, really the only ones putting up a fight against the local Puerto Rican contingent, which has come out in force.
You know what? Last night was the trials ceremonies where Thomas Rigby received a big fat check, and let me just say he was a happy camper. Here's another look of Thomas Rigby's last wave.
There you can see in the barrel, completely covered, driving down the line. It almost looks like he's not going to make it out, but then you see him come out through that whitewater splash. Meanwhile, up and riding.
Another barrel ride right here, but this time it's Ryan Hardy busting through the lip for a roll on the way out of that wave. and finds another lip section, punches through that for another roll. So barrel riding and lip maneuvers this morning. Welcome to the Encanto Pro Puerto Rico, Ryan Hardy.
Yes, Thomas Rigby score dropping. He gets a 5.35 on his last wave. We'll see what the score is for Ryan Hardy once the judges put that through, but I have a feeling this wave is going to be enough to put Hardy back in front of Rigby. So really right now it's the Australians jockeying for the first spot.
Ryan Hardy, you can see he's a very technical rider, always moving on his board, forward, backwards, always about timing with this guy. Ryan Hardy, one of the most textbook riders on the tour, and you can see him just focus, finds the lip maneuver right there, ending a perfect move, a perfect wave for Ryan Hardy. So great riding from Ryan Hardy so far. Look at this.
And out in the water, we've got Bobby Quinones from Puerto Rico up and riding. Nice pocket spin into the barrel. Is he going to come out? There he is. He comes out through the whitewater. Throws into a reverse in the pocket, still going. We lose him a little bit behind the whitewater peak, but a nice series of spins there. Nice combination of maneuvers from the local Puerto Rican legend.
Bobby Quinones in Puerto Escondido at the last event, when the event had a lay day, or I believe, no, the event ended, and he was out there just getting towed into these monster waves. Bobby Quinones, definitely a big wave rider, and now putting another wave under his belt. Again, Ryan Hardy, solid textbook riding. This guy in contention for sure. He still has a shot for a world title.
There you can see the stats dropping on the board for Hardy, the 31-year-old Australian, in contention for the world title, hoping for a solid result and to keep pace with Jeff Hubbard here at this event.
I mean, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and guess what? She's still on the podium. And Ryan Hardy is definitely one that is the closest to take that world title away from Jeff Hubbard. It's all going to come down to the last and final round of the leaderboard rounds. Round number 3, heat number 8, and you can't blink, close your eyes or whatever for the next 3 rounds, because a lot of numbers are going to be dropped for a lot of these riders. May not make it into the seeded rounds next year. Some will have that spot solidified, and a world title is up for grabs.
All right, and we have scores dropping. Ryan Hardy with a 4.75 on his last wave. That will bump him up into the top spot. Bobby Quinones with a 4.9 on his last wave. He will move in the second spot. That drops Thomas Rigby into the third position. And Mike Stewart, a 1.9, basically an up and down ride for him. So as we stand right now, we have Ryan Hardy and Bobby Quinones in the top 2 spots for this heat, Manny.
And I don't know if you can see on your screen, but there are some sets coming in out the back. And Mike Stewart, I think, spotted him 5 minutes ago. He has some awesome connection with the ocean. He knows where to be, when to be. Is he going to be in that spot to advance on, or to get a good placing here in this heat? Here we go, live action. Thomas Rigby.
Tom Rigby up and riding, drops into this one, sets his line, looking for the barrel section, driving. And I don't think he's going to make it out of that one, man. It looked like it just raced down the line a little too fast for him.
Well, that's the beauty of middles. I mean, you can jump on one of these waves. There's a jetty or like a rock formation to the east of us, northeast of us. And sometimes if these riders time it right, they will actually jump on a perfect wedging right. And I think that's what Thomas Rigby was on. But sometimes it just pulls away and closes out on him. So if you get that solid wedger, keep your eyes open. Amazing things will happen, especially with these riders out in the water, heat number 1.
Yeah, for everybody on the beach and everybody at home watching, as you can see, we have beautiful conditions here. Mike Stewart up and riding.
The local legend from Hawaii dropping in. Again, you can see his rail control master right there. Comes out of a nice pocket ride. He's not done yet. He sees an oncoming section, goes for a little invert at the end. Mike Stewart, the living legend. And there you go. Perfect barrel riding. This guy is the tube master, Mike Stewart.
Nice, clean, technical riding on that wave from Mike Stewart. That should be a decent score for him. Here we have the replay.
All right, now look how he maneuvers his body to the back of the board, stalls. He knows that there is a barrel section coming up, and he starts moving forward. He has to get that speed, maintains his speed through the barrel, and comes out under the lip. Nice, solid barrel riding technique.
Yes.
Second by Mike Stewart. And he's not done. Ends this wave with a nice invert at the end of that wave.
Mike Stewart is a true master of the small technical adjustments for barrel riding and performing big maneuvers.
Yeah, and he loves big waves too.
There you can see him paddling back out. This wave has produced some really fun conditions since we've gotten here. A lot of the Hawaiians, like Mike, and the younger guys like Trevor Cam, have all kind of equated this break to off the wall.
Yeah, Mike Stewart having the joy trip. I mean, we've seen him. Some riders, some locals I've been talking to are so happy to see all these guys on the water, especially Mike Stewart. The word that he's out and about during the lay days or when he's not competing and riding other waves around the island, everybody's talking about it. And he was at Chatada in the San Juan area yesterday, and people were pretty stoked to see that.
Yeah, Mike Stewart, the 48-year-old ageless wonder, the 9-time world champ, one of the most accomplished wave riders in the world. Anytime he shows up in an event anywhere in the world, everybody's mood seems to transition. You know, it's like he's a true legend of the sport. Having him show up is a real experience being able to meet him. There you can see some sets coming through.
The water is amazing. I love surfing in trunks. My goal is to avoid the winter waters and coming to Puerto Rico during the winter. I mean, we're only 3 hours away from New York. So if I lived in anywhere in that area during the winter, I'd definitely come down here and get some tropical weather time.
Yes, most definitely. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm only a 3.5 hour flight down here. And I tell you what, 85-degree water temps and board shorts sure beats having to wear the full winter wetsuit get up.
And you have waves. I mean, look at that. I mean, we've had waves every single day of the event so far, so it's going to be and we have waves for the next week. So thank you for tuning in once again for the Encanto Pro. Mother Nature has delivered once again for this unbelievable tour this year. We've had waves pretty much the entire tour at some waves of consequence, and the pro riders at this level are pumped.
Most definitely. And just to give everybody a quick rundown of our schedule today, we are going to go through round 1 of the Men's Grand Slam Series leaderboard today. And that will be followed by round 3 of the women's and round 2 of the Drop Knee Pro. So we've got all kinds of action in store for you guys today.
Jackson is actually wearing some goods that you can buy on the online IBA World Tour shop. And he's got the black IBA t-shirt. I had the white one yesterday. And he also has the hat, too. These items are available on the shop page on the IBAWorldTour.com page. Check it out. If you haven't already ordered one, get one. I already have a couple.
Yeah, they've got T-shirts, hats, beanies, iPhone covers.
Action, action!
Out in the water in red. Ryan Hardy up and right. On the bottom hits a nice big invert. Good projection. There you can see him claiming it. But I think he might have lost his edge on that. I don't know if he's going to get scored on a complete maneuver for that.
I think he was well out in front of that one. Let's take another look. Textbook air maneuver right here. Look at his bottom turn. Ryan Hardy and Mitch Rollins have some of the best bottom turns in bodyboarding, and you need to look at that massive air. You need to have that bottom turn to be able to do moves like that. Ryan Hardy, unbelievable air, great wave, and you can see his happiness right there.
And Bobby following Quinones. That up, Bobby Quinones is out in the water, hits the roll off of that end section, gets lost in the white water.
He didn't pull that
maneuver.
No, incomplete for Bobby Quinones, complete for Ryan Hardy. We're probably going to see some big scores coming down for Ryan Hardy's perfect bottom turn, perfect lip maneuver, big invert. Ryan Hardy, solid. Bobby Quinones tried to do it on the left. Bobby hasn't caught one of those really glassy bombs yet. I think he's a little anxious. He's got to calm down, bring it down to first gear again, and reset and start over because he's getting a little anxious. Bobby Quinones has been one of the trademark bodyboarders, one of the icon bodyboarders from Puerto Rico. Wherever he goes, people know who this guy is. For one reason, he charges.
Yeah, Bobby Quinones is one of the true groundbreaking riders from Puerto Rico. Definitely a big wave charger. You were talking about his antics in Mexico at Zicatela. He's also been known to charge some pretty heavy pipeline.
Yeah, and his food regimen, his eating diet regimen is like no other. I mean, one of his buddies was smoking a cigarette as he was filming some of the wave riders, and Bobby just snapped on him and said, "What are you doing? You're competing. You shouldn't be smoking." So very healthy, Bobby Quinones. Coming up next, who do we got?
Yeah, coming up in the next heat, we're going to see Pierre-Louis Costas in red, Uri Valodown in white, Roberto Bruno in yellow, and Noel de Arce in black. Noel de Arce in black Puerto Rico local. He got the highest scoring third place position in the trials and was able to take advantage of that 9th position from the trials to get into the main event. That spot was made possible by Ben Player pulling out of the event to go spend time in Bali.
All right, Udi Valadao, the contender. He is a contender for the world title race. If Jeff Hubbard places 5th in this event, Udi Valadao has to win the event for a world title shot.
Yeah, so Uri Valadao, no stranger to the pressure. He is the former 2008 world champion. So he's got his work cut out for him, but I don't think it's above his abilities to put in a performance to keep him in the running.
Udi Valadao, unfortunately, if Jeff Hubbard places 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, that is the end of the road for Udi Valadao as world champion. So a lot of things are riding today on the placing of Jeff Hubbard. If Jeff Hubbard wins and Ryan Hardy gets 2nd, we may have a title run in the Canary Islands. But Jeff Hubbard wins, Ryan Hardy does not get 2nd, we will have a world title champion today.
Yes, there you can see our competitors' tent. You know what, Manny? I love the fact that at each IBA event, all of the flags for the representative riders hanging in the tent, so every nation gets representation.
And we've seen in Reunion Island, Alex Uranga actually had to hand make a Basque country flag, and it was pretty cool because he took that trials event in and the event itself in Reunion Island. It was amazing.
For those of you not familiar with the Basque Country, it's the northern territory of Spain. It's almost considered its own country at this point. Kind of like in the world of surfing and bodyboarding, Hawaii and Puerto Rico are considered their own territory. In Europe, Spain and the Basque Country are considered 2 separate regions.
Have you been to the Basque Country?
I have not been to Europe at all yet, unfortunately.
Okay, we got to change that in 2012. We got to change that in 2012. Waiting patiently with 9 minutes remaining in the first heat of the day. It's still early for us here in Puerto Rico. And if you're tuning in from the east coast of the U.S., from Europe, wherever you're tuning in from, we want to thank you for that. This is winding down, 9 minutes to go, round number 1, heat number 1 of the leaderboard's 3-round system.
Look
Ryan
at that
Hardy.
shot, Manny.
Ryan Hardy.
Absolutely
yeah.
beautiful.
I can't even see the numbers. We see what you see, but I'm just looking at the beautiful ocean. But here's the current standings right now in the water. Ryan Hardy leading the charge, 15.15, 2 solids, 7.5, 7.65 waves. Mike Stewart on his heels, but he needs an 8.15 for that first place spot. Bobby Quinones is pretty deep. Now back to some action. Looks like we got Mike Stewart up and riding.
Mike Stewart driving down the line, pulls into the barrel, and it looks like it's going to close out on him. He's not going to make it out of that, Manny.
It looked like that side bouncing wedge came underneath him and closed off the wave that he thought was going to stay open.
Yesterday we saw it, and we're seeing it again today. There's some really nice sets coming through, but they have a tendency to section off or just peel down the line, and riders aren't able to keep up with them.
Well, sometimes the wedge, if they get in position, drop in on the right side of the wedge that has bounced off the rock down the beach, then that wave will be solid. Unfortunately, the wedge, sometimes they get caught behind the wedge and the wave turns away or it just crumbles down and shuts down for them. And unfortunately, we saw Mike Stewart do exactly that. The wave that Mike Stewart was on do exactly that. So Bobby Quinones, he needs a 9.15 or a 5.01 to go into first or second place respectively. Thomas Rigby, he's currently in 4th place with a 9.8, which he needs for first, or a 5.66 for second place. So again, a quick rundown on how the leaderboard system works. We're going to see the riders go through 3 different heats. Each heat will have different riders, and they will not get knocked out in these first 3 rounds. What they will get are points. First place, you will get 6 points. Second place, you will get 4 points. Third place, 2. Fourth place, 1 point. At the end of the first three heats of their heats, those points will be added. The top 16 on the leaderboard will advance on to the man-on-man competition. All right, we do have an awesome replay right now set up for Ryan Hardy's invert earlier in this heat. Let's take a look.
Here you can see Ryan Hardy taking off on this one, drawing a nice speed line, dropping down to the bottom. You can see him transitioning his rail, projecting up, and as he heads up, nice clean line, maximizing speed, and boom, there you have it. Full extension, nice body positioning, very technical, very detailed, Manny.
This replay and the actual broadcast will be shown on our YouTube channel. So if you want to know how to ride a wave properly and how to do an air properly, you can watch that replay over and over. That was a perfect aerial maneuver from Ryan Hardy.
Yes, our production guys here at the IBA, the Snakes and Ladder crew, putting together some really good clips, making sure to get everything online. There you see it, youtube.com/IBA World Tour.
Live action.
Back out in the water, Manny.
Babby Quinones comes off the bottom, goes for a roll, just hold on tight on the landing, and Babby Quinones from Puerto Rico in the black jersey goes for a big maneuver, and I think that was a complete move. He has to show that he is in control in front of the whitewash after the wave breaks. Let's take another look.
Here's the replay. Babby dropping in. It looked like he almost caught his rail a little bit. Still regains composure, drops down, drives off the bottom, eyeing up that section, hits it, punches through the lip. Watch the landing, Manny. He comes to a dead stop. I mean, hard impact. And then the lip crashes down on him. He comes out through the whitewater a little bit, but then it looks like he gets lost in the wash.
Well, we'll see what the judges, I don't know if they're going to say it's completed or not. And his score drops in at a 2.5, and it looks like it was deemed incomplete. Babby can't believe it. He thought he pulled it off. He thought he was well out in front of the whitewash before he got off his board, and the judges saw differently.
Yeah, there you can see Babby splashing the water in frustration, not happy with that. He felt he completed the maneuver, but he did not come out through the whitewater cleanly, and the judges are looking for solid evidence that you have completed and finished the maneuver.
All right, other competitors waiting patiently out in the water. Look at the conditions. Absolutely gorgeous.
You know what? You can see it's still pretty churned up on the inside. Yesterday there was a lot of current, a lot of rip. There was a big comment from a lot of the competitors. You would get ripped down the beach pretty quickly if you didn't paddle as hard as you could to get out to the lineup. This reef break can be a little challenging at times with obviously the shallow conditions and the strong current that you have to fight out there.
They actually have some food stands on the beach, which is incredible. They're called empanadas, and they're just deep-fried tacos or deep-fried breaded meat. And I had one yesterday afternoon, and I wanted to work it off, so I made the challenge to paddle out in these conditions. And let me tell you, a lot of current. These whitewash coming into the shore, very powerful. So these guys, I don't know how they do it. They travel the world. Bodies are jet lagged. Bodies have to recover, and they have to paddle out in conditions that warrant physical training. And you got to be fit. I give all these riders in the top 16 full credit. These guys are professional athletes, and they know that. So they're doing the stretching, diet, everything. It's different from my generation, that's for sure.
Yeah, our generation in the 90s, there was a lot of partying, a lot of craziness. Not so much on the physical fitness end. But there you can see in the competitors. All
right, these guys right here, a perfect example. They're not going to party. They're not going to do anything. They are just focused on competing. Mitch Rollins, definitely a new face of Mitch Rollins here on the IBA World Tour Grand Slam and qualifying series. Mitch Rollins has now come of age. It took him a while to mature back into the contest arena, but with maneuvers that he is known for, and you bring it into a contest arena like this, and you put it all together, you mesh it together, you're going to see some fantastic things to come out of guys like Mitch Rollins. Yeah. Look at this, perfect textbook barrel roll. He lands, he goes perfectly cylindrical with the lip of the wave and lands perfectly. The old Mitch, cut out of there, go back for another wave. The new Mitch, look at a new section, get another maneuver in, get as many points as you can. The old Mitch, cut out of there. The new Mitch, he actually did an air maneuver at the end of that wave, so solid contest riding maneuvering yesterday from Mitch Rollins. The new Mitch Rollins is going to be very scary on the 2012 tour.
Yes, yesterday Mitch Rollins finishing second in the trials finals, but going consensus was overall throughout the course of the day, Mitch Rollins was the one that was riding the hardest and pulling off the biggest, cleanest maneuvers. He was pulling off some textbook inverts, and just putting on a clinic out in the water, it seemed.
Yeah, no, all the locals are very. I like cruising down the beach when we're not live and just talking to the locals. I want to know what they're thinking, what they see, and a lot of them are saying they're pumped to be able to see all the guys they see in the magazines, in the videos, here at their home beach, and their eyes are wide open. A big showing this morning, even though this contest started at 6:30. People were here to watch some of their favorite riders. Check this out, Thomas Rigby, live action.
Tom Rigby from Australia in the yellow jersey driving down the line.
Nice.
That's a nice little barrel section. Comes out, stalls, looking for another barrel section. Not really going to happen, so he's going to drive down the line and goes for the air roll spin off the end section and loses the handle on his board.
Oh, bummer. As you can tell, he's frustrated. He's pounding his board. He could not pull that last roll maneuver all the way around, and you saw him struggling, kicking, and he lost his hands from his board. Let's take another look at Thomas Rigby's last wave.
Here you can see the replay, getting that little barrel section, then adjusting, stalling, hoping for the other barrel section to set up, but not really coming together the way he hoped. So he drives around the section, sees a nice little ramp, goes for the air roll spin, and as he's coming around to complete the maneuver, it looks like his board slipped out from under him, Manny.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. I mean, you have all this bubbling and churning and just everything that wants to separate you from your board, and Thomas couldn't hold on to it. He does not want to be in that fourth place position. You only get 1 point. That is the end of the heat. Mike Stewart and the rest of the riders coming straight in, and they will not be scored on these waves. So how do we look? Where are we at with the final heat scores?
Yeah, round one, he won. It looks like Ryan Hardy's going to come out on top for those 6 points. Mike Stewart will finish second and gather 4 points for his effort. He will be followed by Bobby Quinones in the third position and Tom Rigby finishing in fourth. That was a little uncharacteristic of Tom there, losing the handle on his board like that. I mean, yesterday he was in tune and on it, and that was a small error on his part.
I'm wondering if the mental factor had anything to do with it, because Ryan Hardy, Thomas Rigby showed up late to the beach, so that whole mental instability going into that heat obviously didn't bother Ryan Hardy. Maybe he should show up late more often. He took that heat. But on the other hand, Thomas Rigby didn't piece together the heat he wanted. Mike Stewart, he is second place. He gets 4 points on the leaderboard. Again, 3 heats each rider. At the end of those 3 heats, their scores will be added.